Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Jay Sami, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a premium template created by Productive Setups. This is a template for organizing your life, and it is called Headquarters Notion Template Review, coming right up. Now, before we dive into what this template is all about and what are the functionalities, I want to quickly describe the reason why I purchased a template. The problem that I was trying to solve is that I need to do more. I need to take more action in my life and get more things done. So I figured that I need to start implementing some sort of system to track everything. And I came up with the bright idea, hey, why not buy a software or something just like I do for my businesses? Because in business you have a CRM that manages your customer interactions and your schedule and all of that. And I thought maybe I need to start taking my life seriously, just like I do my business, and implement some kind of a system. Now I asked myself, well, what could that system be? What would it need to entail? And I said, you know what, the first thing that system needs to have is it needs to be able to capture every single thing that I do in my life. So on a daily basis, everything that gets done would need to be able to have the option of getting put into this system so that I can track it. And the second thing that I wanted to make sure that the system has is the ability to be simple, right? The ability to not only be simple, but to be sophisticated enough that it's worth using. So it has to be simple yet sophisticated, and it needs to be able to follow some sort of a system where it makes sense. It makes sense. Everything flows beautifully. And I can tell you right off the start, right off the bat, that Headquarters by Productive Setup checks all of those boxes. It's a very good template. I would recommend it. There are some problems that I wouldn't recommend for certain people, and I'll get into that later. But for now, I'm going to take you into my personal template, and I'm going to show you exactly how my day is structured and how I use it on a day-to-day basis. Now, it's important to note that the Notion template here, while it is pretty sophisticated and there's a lot going on, if you scroll down to the bottom, there seems to be a lot going on, but it is very simple. There is a few databases, but they're displayed with different views. So you have different views. You have a weekly view, a monthly view. You have another view that only shows you one filter, another filter, another filter, and so on. So it's really not that complicated, but it seems like it, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get into three categories. You have the life buckets. Those are the big overall things that you want to do in your life. So your relationship, your business, your fitness and health, those are going to be categorized as life buckets. Then you have projects. Projects are smaller things that has a deadline usually, or it's ongoing, but these projects have tasks within them that needs to get done. Then you have the tasks. So you have tasks, projects, life buckets. And all of that comes down to what needs to get done, right? It's just different displays, different views of what needs to get done. And we're going to look into my projects right now. We're going to start off with projects because that is where you would start. If you purchase this Notion template, you would probably start with the projects. And if you look at it here, you have the most important projects here. So usually whatever it is that you're working on, you want to put it into favorites. And that means this is more of a short-term goal that you have, right? So I have a goal of renting out my basement in the next couple months, and there's a lot of things that need to happen before I can rent that out. So I have this as a project that I'm working on. If you click on it, you'll see all the tasks that's involved with renting out the basement. So all of these tasks will fit into my rent basement project. Same thing with setting up my two businesses. I have a lot of things to do to set up before the spring happens. And all of these things need to get done. So right now, there's two displays. If you use the filters, you have these are uncompleted tasks and these are completed tasks. And you have the post YouTube videos. They've come down. So basically, you have the projects, okay? Then you have the no status. So these are ongoing projects or random projects that you want to work on, but it's not urgent. It's not your priority. And the reason why he sets it up this way is because you always want to be prioritizing the projects that are in your favorites, and then the ongoing, and then the random projects that come up. You can still work on those, but it's not your priority. And that makes it really easy to decide what you're gonna do, because a lot of the times we have a new idea. We want to take a course, we want to start something new, right? And this helps to keep you on track, because whenever you plan your week, you look and you see, okay, I'm going to be accountable for these three or four things. So I need to make sure that it is a priority and I'm making time for it. If I'm staying on top of it, if I'm getting a lot done, then I can go here and I can work on something else. So I really like the way that it's set up with the projects here. And if you go to the tasks, now the tasks up here, this is what you're going to see every single day. You go into your Notion headquarters. These are all the things that needs to get done today. These are the things that have already completed. These are the things that I have not completed. And you can see that it's ranked from importance and urgency. There's a state, there's the life buckets, there's the projects that it's related to, and then there is also the time allocation. And we'll get into that a little bit more later, but these are basically the tasks that needs to get done for today. So we've covered the projects and the tasks, and we're going to look at the habits. So if you scroll down to the bottom, we're going to have a workspace where there's a lot of categories here. There's a lot of workspaces. So if you look, I'm trying to point on my finger, but there's the habit tracker. Okay, you click the habit tracker and you're going to see all of the tasks, because remember, it's one database. Everything that you need to do, one database, but different views and different filters. So everything that's labeled as a habit will show up here. So you can look and see all the habits that you've completed for the week, for the month, and you can also count it. So you can go in and see how many times you've tracked monitoring your finances. You can go in and see how many times you've said your prayers, because that's a habit that I'm working on right now. How many times you woke up by 5 a.m. You can also track your sleep, see what kind of sleep you're getting. It's a good habit tracker. And with the habit tracker, right next to the habit tracker, there's the time tracker. And that one allows you to keep track of all of the activities that you're doing. Whatever you want to measure the time, this will allow you to do it. And it syncs seamlessly with your Notion calendar. You have a Notion calendar and you can use it to time block. And as you drag and drop, that adjusts the time. So if you go from 12 to 1:30, that's an hour and a half. And that will be imported into your Notion template, so that when you're reviewing, you can calculate and see how much time you spent going to the gym. So as long as you're using the calendar that syncs with your Notion template, you don't have to manually input the time you spend. You just need to make sure that you're staying on top of your time blocking and adjusting the time accordingly so that you get an accurate measurement. So the time tracking, amazing. Now, I don't use it personally to track everything. I try to get an idea. So one of the things I noticed in my life last year was that I was spending a lot of time at the gym. I was going to jiu-jitsu. I was going to the gym to work out, and sometimes I'd go for runs. Not very often, but I realized that I was training like a professional athlete without getting professional athlete results, and I was always tired. I was not having a lot of time for my business, and other things were getting neglected in my life. So I've decided to cut back on the gym this year, and I'm going to make sure that I keep track of the time. So when I go to the gym, I know that I'm restricted to 3 times a week for 3 or 4 times per week for jujitsu and 3 times per week for exercise, weightlifting. And I want to make sure that I'm not going to the gym for 4 hours or 3 hours. It's got to be quick, 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 quick. The other thing that I'm tracking using the time tracker to see is my sleep. So if I go into habits again, where's the habits? Habit tracker. Oh, I'm in habit tracker. I need to go to time tracker. Shoot. So that was just a good example of the same database but different displays. So it was the same database, but if you want to track your time, you have to click the appropriate display. So here you can see that I was getting 6 hours, 6 hours, 6.5. So I'm averaging about 6 hours, 6.5 hours per night, which is pretty good, right? But you can look into all of the projects that you're doing. So I'm renting the basement. I can look and I can see here that I am putting in some good hours. And that just helps when you're reviewing your week and you can see all of the time that you spent on certain tasks. So very, very helpful. Now, another good thing about the template is it also incorporates your journaling. So you can set your journal as a daily habit, or you can just do it whenever you want. Here we go to journal, and you can see all the journals that all of the journal entries that you've made will show up here. So on January 6th, I did a journal. On January 8th, I did a journal. And you can also look at your different journal entries for the daily, weekly, and monthly, which is super cool because now you can categorize on it from a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And you can even add quarterly, which is what I do. So the journals are all there. You can set it up as a habit. You can set it up as a reoccurring, and it's all inside of one hub. You can get everything done. Similar to journals is the resource section. If you click the resources, this is where you can have all of your books, your courses, your articles, your podcasts, YouTube videos, everything goes into here. So whenever you want to consume something, whenever you want to consume a piece of media, you can input it here and you can rank the priority. This is actually the priority is something that I put in. It wasn't there as part of the template. I included it because I noticed that I have 100 books that I want to read, but they're not all ranked the same. There's some that I want to read when I have time, when it's convenient, but there are others that I need to read right now. So I've ranked them from 1 means read now and 5 means read whenever you get a chance. And it's just basic. You can filter it through what you're reading now, what you've completed. I have completed these books so far this year, and I try to make notes whenever I complete a book. I go in and I make some notes. So I finished the 12-week year, and you go here. I've ranked it. It's a 5 out of 5. It's done. It was productivity, and then I have the notes. There's a lot of notes there. Very good book. I highly recommend. And I changed the priority to 4 because I've already read it. So I might reread it again this year, but it's now a 4 because I've already read it. And yeah, that's what it is. So now you might be thinking, well, that seems kind of inconvenient because if I want to input a quick note, if I'm having a conversation with someone and they mention, oh, I read a really good book that I think you would enjoy, here it is, and you want to write it down, you got to take out your phone and write it down and then go home and put it into your Notion template. No, 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 no. There are buttons. There's buttons up here. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful buttons. So on your phone, you can make a widget, okay? And you can use these buttons on the widget to click and make a quick note. So you open up the Notion widget on your phone and you click take a quick note. So you can either make the note and say, read this book, what's his name told me about. Or you can add a resource. You can click add a resource and you just type in the name of the book, type in the author, type in the status, and that'll show up on your database, your resources database. So now you don't have to think about it. If you're on the go and you also have a quick task that you want to input, if you're driving, you're like, oh shoot, I forgot I needed to go to the bank. I better write that down so I don't forget. You can pull over, make a quick note, or add it onto your Ask Siri. So the buttons, the buttons are really cool. It helps with distraction. If I'm working on a project and I realize that I need to do something else within that project, I don't have to scroll down and enter the project and see all this stuff that I need to be done and get distracted. What I can do is just go create a quick task, put it into the appropriate project, and resume the work that I'm doing. So very, very easy. Also the notes, All of the quick notes that you've taken will show up here and it'll be categorized into the appropriate projects. So that's pretty awesome. Look at this. Those are some of the notes that I've taken in the last week. It shows up in the appropriate projects and it's really quick because remember, you push the button, you take a note. You don't have to find a new app to take a note, and it's just really, really simple. And then remember also when you go to the project section and you see all of the tasks that you need to do, you also see the notes. Everything related to this project will be in the project folder. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. That's basically it in a nutshell. There's a couple more bonuses that I've already mentioned, but just to capture it really quick, the time tracking, syncing with the Notion calendar and being able to time block is kind of a bonus because Notion calendar also syncs with your Google calendar. So you can have your CRM for your business. They have their own calendar and you can sync that with Google, and then Google can sync with your Notion. So you can have everything in the Notion calendar. Notion calendar is very, very powerful. And maybe I'll make a review on the Notion calendar app one day. The other bonus is reoccurring tasks. So for all of my habits, I don't have to manually type it in or manually click and drag and drop. I just set it up as a reoccurring task. So here you have a little daily repeat symbol there, and that just means that every day at 4 a.m. my schedule will be populated with rise by 5, say your prayers, monitor your finances, plan your day. So within 30 minutes of the day starting, I can get 5 habits out of the way. Done. Boom. The sleep will populate every single day. So now all I need to do is go into my calendar and drag and drop my sleep. Beautiful, beautiful. The time blocking is amazing when synced with Notion calendar. You just drag and it automatically calculates the time. Those are all bonuses. And the last bonus is bottlenecks, or the weekly review, which basically when you go to do a weekly review, so if we go to journal, for example, and we go to weekly review, what you'll notice here is you can see all of the tasks and all of the projects that you've completed that week. You can see those. And then you can make an accurate assessment whether or not you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because everything is there and you can see it all. So really, really good template. I highly recommend it for anyone that's willing to put in the time to learn it. Create a system that works for you, because what works for the creator of it might not work for you. So you have to make some small adjustments. So if you're not willing to put in the time and effort to set your life up in the template and maybe learn a little bit about it, then I wouldn't recommend it, because it can be too complicated for certain people. I think if I had tried to implement this 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have stuck to it. But I do recommend it for people that have some experience with Notion, or you have zero experience but you're willing to learn the basics. Final review, like Flossie Carter says, is this is a major, 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 major go. Yes, I do recommend it. Peace out. Oh, oh, one more thing. One drawback is there's no color coding. I don't know if this is something that you can do, but I haven't been able to figure it out. What I would like to be able to do with this is color code my to-do list. So I wish I could color code my habits one color and then color code my major projects another color, and then the random tasks that come up color it or leave it uncolored. Because right now it looks like these are all weighted the same, but they're not. There's a lot of things in here that are not necessarily a priority, but they're still on my schedule. So I wish there was a little bit more color coding, but it's not a big deal. So other than the color coding and taking a little bit of time to learn and set up, there's really no issues with this program. And oh, I forgot. I forgot to mention the price. So the price is $79, and $79 is cheap. You don't have to pay a reoccurring subscription. It's a one-time deal. You pay the price, you move on. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but in my business, I subscribe to a CRM that charges $400 per month to manage my customers and manage my scheduling, my invoicing. And this is basically a CRM for your life without the hefty price. Go out, buy it. It's well worth it. I find tremendous value. And the other thing that I could also mention is I finished reading 12 Week Year, and the author of that book, he has a software that is used to keep track of the goals that you have. But it is a subscription. I think it's $300 for the year. And it's nowhere near as powerful as this Notion template. So what do you want? What do you want? You want to spend $300 for something that does a fraction of this Notion template? Or you want to buy the Notion template and implement and start getting things done? You choose. Peace.